sure to push that red button and subscribe and join the family. Welcome back to the channel. As you can see, we're going to make something good. I had some dinosaur kale, which is Lacento kale, and I wanted to make something good. And you know I love garbanzo beans. So I got to thinking Tuscany, let's see, Tuscany chickpea pasta. How about that? That sounds good. Okay, and all Tuscany means, you guys, is Italian. And of course, if you're going to be Italian, you're going to need some Italian seasons. And you know the seasons that are involved in that is your basil, your rosemary, your thyme. I have some fennel seed, garlic powder, smoked paprika. We want it to be creamy, so we're going to use a combination of the celery soup / coconut milk. And then if I need some tomato paste, I'll use it. But we're definitely going to put in some sun-dried tomatoes because that's going to just make it really delicious. We're also, as you can see, using the cherry tomatoes, some serrano peppers back in there, your red onion, red pepper, green pepper, and we're going to use bow tie pasta for the pasta. I'm really excited about that. I've always liked that as a kid, so I thought that would be nice and pretty, but it would always also be tasty. And of course, you got to have some nutritional yeast because you got to have that cheesy-like flavor. And for those of you who want to keep it vegan, you're going to use your vegan cheese. But if not, you can use this kind. This has been really good for me, and it doesn't bother me at all. It's the lactose-free mozzarella. I kind of wanted to make it a little bit more Italian and use some mozzarella versus Parmesan because I'm always using Parmesan. Okay, so we're going to get all this stuff cut up and start getting this into the pot and start smelling real good and getting closer to this dish being done. Okay, let's just start to get all this up. We've already rinsed everything off. So we're just going to start getting it cut up. We're going to start with the Lacento kale. Just going to cut the very ends of it off. Other than that, I'm just going to start slicing this up. Now, I've seen some people roll it and do it. Like they'll take it like this and roll it that way and do it. And that's an option too. But I'm just going to go ahead and simplify my life and keep it this way. Okay, and then once I have this cut this way, of course, I'll turn it the opposite way. This Lacento kale is a little bit rougher than your spinach and your other things, even your regular kale. But it's going to disappear into it also. But it'll be more apparent than especially like spinach. If you use spinach, you're going to have to use a lot of it for it to even show up in the end. Okay, that's really good. And you can even smell it. It's really nice. Okay, and then with the pepper, you can slice it in 2 different ways. So then as you cut it, it'll already be cut up where you want it to be. Okay. Now these, you want the vegetables to be visible, or at least I do. Want the vegetables to be visible, and the flavor will be just phenomenal. Okay. Okay. Alrighty. That should be enough. We got 1 pepper. Now remember, that was a red pepper, but you can use the red bell pepper also. Either way, it's going to be good. This green pepper, I'm going to try half of it. And then if I think I need some more, I'll add some more. Okay. So you're just going to slice these. They don't have to be real little bitty. But you know, that's just a preference. That's not going to really affect your taste. Okay. As long as it's there, that's what we're looking for. Looking for that flavor and that color too. Because the way it looks is just as important as the way it tastes. Which, you know, I told you before, especially with desserts. I made some ugly cakes, and those were some of the best tasting cakes I ever made. I know when we were younger, my mom would be making a cake and she'd be like, sit down somewhere, because the cake would fall. But I tell you, when the cake fell, that was the best cake she ever made. It was ugly, but it was so, so good. So, you know, if it falls, it falls. But for most of your dishes that you're making, I am going to tell you that it does make it, for me, a lot more scrumptious because I eat it with my eyes before I even taste it. And it just looks beautiful. I mean, it would be a disservice to the vegetables if it didn't taste good. As beautiful as some of the meals come out to be, if they don't taste good, I wouldn't even be able to believe it because, like I said, I'm eating it with my eyes, and it's just, I'm so excited to eat it that it's just amazing. Yeah, it's very amazing. Okay. Now I'm done cutting up these onions. Now I am going to add the serrano pepper, but I'm not going to cut it up. I'm just going to put a slice through it so that the flavor can come on in. But that's it. I'm just going to put that in the pot once I get the onions going. Right here, I think I've gotten all of the vegetables that I'm going to need for this cut up. Now, you might want to keep some onion in reserve because you know me, I love onion. But other than that, I think we've got all of the ingredients, and we can start getting this put together. We've got us a pot, and we're just going to put some of this bow-tie pasta in here. Probably about 2 cups. You don't need a ton. Putting some water in this to boil. I'm going to put it on the stove. Okay, we've got this on. And we're going to pour us some of that good old avocado oil in here. And we're going to start getting the burn on these ingredients, okay? Now, you know we're going to use some garbanzo beans. First of all, we're going to go ahead and put some of these onions in here. So that's going to get it started. You already know that gets everything started is the onions. Okay, and I told you before, I'm going to get that serrano pepper in there, but I'm not going to cut it up. I'm just going to put it in the mix. Now we've got our garbanzo beans. I'm going to pour the juice off of it. Now save that juice because I haven't decided if I'm going to put a broth in it or not, but I don't want whatever broth I use to change the flavor. So I'm thinking about, instead of a broth, just using that aquafaba, you know, the juice off the chickpea with that celery soup to make a broth if I need be. Okay. Now at this point, I want to let those onions heat up, and we're going to start getting our seasoning. I normally like to make a little bowl and then mix them around, but we're not going to do that this time. We're just going to start getting them put in. First off with that Italian seasoning, and everything is the flavor. So I like to stick with a teaspoon of the Italian seasoning and then half a teaspoon of everything else. There's your garlic powder, there's your smoked paprika, okay? And we want some fennel seed. Now you can crush it up if you like, but this is just fine for me. You don't need a lot of fennel seed, but just to know it's there. I want a little white pepper, okay? And of course some nutritional yeast. And you want to do at least a tablespoon of that. Now let's get all this marinating around in here. Oh, look at that. That just looks beautiful. Like I said, just let that serrano pepper float around in there as much as it wants. Now with your sun-dried tomatoes, there's an oil that comes in here. I'm going to use a half a cup of this, okay? And I'm going to let that oil be there. I have a little bit left as far as the half a cup, but I'm going to add that afterwards. I want to go ahead and marinate all this. Oh, look at this. This is beautiful, people. Yes, this is just lovely. Okay. Okay, I am going to let this sit for a minute because I want those chickpeas to get tender. I don't want them to be crunchy. I want them to be tender. So we'll let this simmer for a bit and then we'll come back. Right. Now we can see this is just how I like it. There you go. Now look at that. That's what I'm talking about. Oh my, now that's what I mean by getting a burn on it. You see that? Oh my goodness. That is just lovely. Now you want it to get a burn on all of this before you start adding the juices and things to it. Okay, we're adding in the green peppers, green and red peppers. Oh, I wish you could smell this. It has such a sweet and Italian. Oh, it's just lovely. Oh, people, it's really lovely. Okay, I can't even describe it. Okay, let's go ahead and start putting in some of this kale because, like I said, we want everything to encompass that savoriness. Look at that. Oh, that's just delicious. Yes. Oh, yes. This is lovely right here. Okay. We're going to hold off on the tomatoes. I don't want to put the tomatoes in until I add the pasta. As soon as I add the pasta, then we'll put the tomatoes in. But until then, we're not going to do that. And look, and see that serrano pepper? There it is. It's just floating around, giving all that good flavor to everything that's there. Okay? Now the pasta is done. We're going to take it off and strain it. You've seen me strain pasta before, so that's not a big deal. We're going to strain that pasta and get ready to add that in here. We're just pouring that over in the pan. I don't know if you can hear it or not. We're pouring that over, and we are gonna rinse it a little bit. Okay. Don't worry because it'll cook the rest of the way in the pan. I normally let it sit. Okay, right here. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and start adding in this pasta. Okay, yes we are. Yeah, we've added it now. And we're gonna let that start rolling around and getting all the flavors in there. At this point is where you might want to add the rest of those sun-dried tomatoes I was telling you about, and make sure you use that oil that's in there too. Also, remember we're using avocado oil. You can add another 2 tablespoons or so of that avocado oil because that's going to give it that rich, buttery flavor that you're going to want in your meal, especially when you're eating it. I mean, who doesn't love that buttery taste of things when you're eating it? Now, at this point, if you wanted it dry, you could do it this way because you see how your pasta is glistening and has all that lovely flavor on it? This is a meal right here. But I want to get a creamy sauce. And like I said, here is where you're going to add just a little bit of your seasonings, a little bit more seasoning to it. Because if you're looking at your pasta and you don't see little specks or anything on the pasta, maybe you don't have enough seasoning. And you don't want to cook this without enough seasoning. Now, anything that doesn't have a salt value, you know me. Lay hands on it and give it all you got because that seasoning is what people are going to talk about. They're going to say, oh, girl, she fixed that. And I mean, it was delicious. It's not going to be delicious because they like pasta. It's going to be delicious because of the seasonings you added to it and the way you made it taste. That's what's going to make it so delicious. Okay, now let me start. I'm going to put a little bit of this aquafaba in here just to get some juices flowing. There you go. See that? That's what I'm talking about. You want to get those juices flowing around in there. Look at that. Oh, that is so delicious. Now, we're going to put the top on this and stir up and mix up the liquid mixture that we're going to put on this. And we're going to come back. Alrighty? So let's put this on here and get our other mixtures and we'll be right back. Look at that. Oh my gosh. I can't even tell you. Now you see what I mean by how your pasta has some little coloring to it, little dots on it. That's what I'm talking about. Okay, we're going to take some of this coconut milk. You want at least a half a cup to a cup. Just depends on how creamy you want it. I'm putting in half there. Now with this celery soup, I'm only going to put in half because it has quite a bit of a salt content to it. So I'm just going to put in a half just for some creaminess. Okay, and we're going to start adding this around. Oh, look at this. Oh my goodness. I can't. You guys, you're going to have to make this. I'm telling you. Woo-wee. Oh, it is beautiful. You know, I had a little bit of that placenta kale left, and I actually probably could have added it. But that's okay. We'll use that at another time. Okay, now is the point where going and put them tomatoes in there, girl. There you go. Okay, that's what I'm talking about. Woo-wee. Oh, yes. Look at that. Now, that's the creaminess I'm talking about. At this point, you can get a piece of something, and I want you to taste it. Oh, my. Okay, at this point, I want a little bit more milk. Yeah, I want a little bit more. And we're going to go ahead and use the rest of that celery because we haven't added any salt to this whatsoever, so it's not going to hurt. One suggestion I can make, but I didn't have any, I didn't have cream of mushroom soup. So, but you'd have to make your own because you don't want, you know, if you're worried about the milk, then you'll have to make your own. But other than that, oh my goodness, people. Oh, this is unreal. I'm telling you. Oh my. Now I am going to add a little bit more of the nutritional yeast. So we'll say about 3 tablespoons of that nutritional yeast total. But I need to be mindful. I haven't even added any of the mozzarella. So those of you all who want to keep it vegan, you're going to stop here. And trust me, stopping here is not a bad thing. Oh, delicious. Trade your kids in for this. Okay. Now right here is where we're going to add a cup of this mozzarella. Now you can use the vegan kind if you like, or whichever preference you prefer. I'm doing the lactose free, because it's not bothering me and I'm loving it. So you're just going to put that over top of it. Look at that. Oh, girl. I'm trying to eat this already. I'm trying to hurry up and eat it now. Oh, look at that. Oh, now, if you all didn't notice, we kept this on high. Did you see that? So there's nothing wrong with cooking on high. You just can't be doing something else and not paying attention. You can cook on high. Plus, when you cook on high, did you see how almost crisp the chickpeas looked before we started adding? Oh, look at that. Oh, yeah, we got to get a plate, honey. I'm hungry, and it's time to get into this. All right, so this is done. We're going to get a plate, get this on it, and get this in my belly. All righty. There it is. And this is the finished product. And, of course, just want to sprinkle a little bit of this on top. Okay. Where's your fork? Okay. People, we're going to get a taste of this and got to get a little chickpea on there too. Okay. Let's taste this. You don't make this? You missing out. Delicious, people. Have a great day. Let me know in the comments how yours turned out. Mine is beautiful.